My name is Brooke Hartman. I am a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in April of 2020. I'm far more than my cancer diagnosis and the treatment and all that, but it's definitely a huge part of my story. I am Clay's wife, have been Clay's wife for 19 years and Jacob's mom for 16. On April 15th, while showering, I found a mass in my left breast. And I knew it was not a good thing, but I had absolutely no idea how our world was going to be turned upside down. I got the phone call on April 23rd that I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma. The surgeon was the first person that told us that it was triple negative. I knew that was not a good thing, not that any breast cancer diagnosis is good, but triple negative is more aggressive. It tends to, folks who are premenopausal tend to get triple negative. At this point, triple negative does not have targeted treatment. So that is why I had multiple modes of treatment, such as chemo infusions. I had double mastectomy with lymph node removal, 30 radiation treatments, 12 months of immunotherapy, 6 months of a chemo pill, because there isn't a way to target the cancer, so we just throw the kitchen sink at it, so it is much more intense. Being a mom by far was the hardest. And by that, I love being a mom, that's not it. It was that having to walk through it with a 13, 14-year-old, knowing that his life was being so dramatically affected. Our son is involved in band. He was an 8th grader. They got to go to the high school and play with the high school band. I was laying in a hospital bed. That was October of his 8th grade year. You know, will I be able to see him march when he's a 9th grader? Will I be able to see him go into high school? Just all those things that ran through my mind. In early November, I wanted to start trying to do things again. And there were these exercises that I had done that I thought it's time to start those, and they're nothing big at all. One of them was a push-up, and I wasn't even doing a full push-up. I was on my knees, and I couldn't do it. I was shaking, and it was like everything came crashing in at that moment of the reality of what cancer and cancer treatment had done to me. And I cried one of the most raw cries I've ever cried in my entire life. The dog came, the husband came, and the son came, because and they just held me in the moment. And I can't explain the hope I got with the possibility that I could potentially be part of a program that could help me rebuild. The medical treatment support that I received was amazing. And yet there's a reality that when treatment is over, cancer's not over. That part of the journey is complete, and I was so grateful for that. But it's kind of like we're just like, okay, congratulations, you're done. Here's what you've got left. Here's what you have now. And then what do we do with that? And I cannot imagine post-treatment without Survivor Fitness. In July of 2021, I began to work with Carissa through PTI. And one of the amazing things about Survivor Fitness for me was the intentionality of the training. You know, I was asked about what treatments I'd had, as well as what my goals were. And in November of 2021, we hiked to the top of LeConte. You know, I struggled. And yet, at one point we stopped, and I just stood there on the trail and cried. I said, I never thought I was going to be able to do this. Like, I just didn't even know if I was ever going to be able to do it. I would go to in my mind in the times where I needed to ground myself to get to stand back up there and know that I walked back up the mountain. Because of the support that I received through Survivor Fitness, the physical, mental, emotional, the being coached, the being encouraged. I got LeConte, and I will always be grateful for that. But I got so much more. I get to be a part of my family. I get to engage in life in ways that I couldn't when I was under treatment. And I don't know how I could have gotten here without Survivor Fitness. I believe that folks need to know that cancer is not the end of the story, that the story continues. And we get to live that out. And I want to spend the rest of my life living. I was alive for a while without living. I want to live, and I want to be able to share what that means.